Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing spinach and artichoke dip 2 ways, and I'm really excited to cook with you guys. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. So hopefully I'm showing everybody something new today because we're gonna be doing a grilled cheese version of everybody's favorite dip. So the first thing we do first is the spinach needs to be wilted. And when I wilt spinach, I just like stuff as much of it as I can into one pot because it shrinks. And I don't use a measuring cup. I am an artist, not a surgeon. And I really just like pack as much as I can into this little pot. And if it feels like I've used like a third of the box, that's usually correct. And I just put a splash of water on it because you don't want to boil it, but I feel too nervous to wilt it without water, so. Okay, and so when the spinach is wilting, we have to grate the mozzarella cheese. For a proper spinach and artichoke dip, some recipes just say Parmesan, but ideally you want to have 2 cheeses. Mozzarella being the other, or if you want like a sexier version of mozzarella, Romano is really good. Romano is similar to Parmesan. All right. Okay, that is enough. I feel like a heaping pile is like what you want it to look like, but obviously it depends how much dip you're making. And it's all going into this bowl here. Okay, so then you take your artichokes, which spinach and artichoke dip, the main ingredient. So I just like squeeze them with my hand to get the water out and then lay them on the cutting board. So, okay, you want it to be little because it's a dip. So we're just gonna be cutting these into like little 4 pieces, okay? It's really easy. And you can make them smaller once they're into 4s. And guys, make sure you're really careful when you're cutting. Okay, and then I'm just gonna cut them all again so they're just like extra little. I love the taste of artichoke, but you don't want anything to be too lumpy in your dip. Okay, so everything is pretty small right now. I'm just gonna do like a fine chop on some of the bigger pieces and get them down a little bit littler. I love artichokes, like I even like them raw. They have like the nicest flavor. And they're really good for you. And you probably don't need a knife this big, but it just makes it go faster. And the bigger, the better. Okay, everything's just going in the bowl. Okay, and I get pre-grated Parmesan. I don't like the bags of shredded cheese because those are like, you don't know how long that cheese has been there. And it comes from like a factory. I like when it's like shredded by the deli, so you know it's like pretty recent. And I just do like a big handful. Parmesan has like a strong taste, maybe like a little bit more than a handful. And I feel like that's all I need. Now, the thing that makes the whole recipe cohesive is mayonnaise, and I'm allergic to eggs, so I'm allergic to mayonnaise. I have vegan mayo. So now I'm just waiting for the spinach to wilt. Should be ready soon. The spinach is wilted and we just have to drain the water out. Look, after all the spinach we put in, that's why I pack it full with as much as I can. So now I'm gonna stir it together. And at first it always seems like it's hard, like it's not gonna mix, but once the mayonnaise spreads around, it always gets like cohesive and smooth. So we're just gonna add some of our seasoning. So I personally like to do a lemon pepper salt blend. You can do really anything you want, like just salt and pepper. You don't have to do anything. I like lemon pepper salt on everything I do, like everything. And then this is just some garlic, but I'm gonna be really careful with it. That's me being really careful with it. So. And it smells really good. It smells like artichoke. And just like fresh. Okay, so it's super mixed. And now we're gonna prepare our bread slices for grilled cheese. I like to get the round bread because then it's like more sandwich. The way we're gonna do this is I personally only like to butter the outside of any grilled cheese. That's just how I am. I don't like to have butter on the inside of my sandwich, so this part that I'm buttering right now is gonna end up on the outside. And then once it's in the pan, that's when I butter the other outside. And I just find like sourdough is my favorite bread, and if there's too much butter, then like the buttermilk flavor kind of overpowers it and it gets like kind of greasy. And I like my food to be really fresh and healthy feeling. So just gonna go like that. And we're gonna put the mix into the sandwich. So now you can make them as thick as you want to, but I'm also making dip after this. So normally with the amounts that I used, it could definitely make 4 sandwiches if you wanted that. So now this goes on the other side. Hold on, let's just throw that in. And then we're gonna take this over to the stove where I like to have everything kind of on like a medium to low when I start out. So the side that has the butter on it goes down. And we just kind of like pack, if there's like any of the mix coming out, we just put it back in. And then we're gonna butter this other side. Oops. Okay, so that is it, and it is buttered, and we're just gonna let it be like that, and we're gonna flip it in a minute. We're gonna put the dip in this casserole dish for like a hot dip that we're gonna use our tortilla chips with. So really simple. We're just putting the dip into the dish. My hands have butter on them and they're all slippery. And I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And depending how much dip you have, like I only put it in for about 20 minutes, but obviously just depends on how much there is. And I like to pack it down because the more even it is, obviously it's gonna heat up evenly all the way through. Okay, so that is ready for the oven, and we're gonna put that in. Set 18-minute timer.
10-second timer for 18 minutes. Starting now.
And so that's for the dip that's in the oven for the hot dip, which we're gonna be putting tortilla chips in, which is gonna be so good. Okay, and so we are gonna just flip this. Pray for me, guys. There we go. And so now we're gonna crank the heat up to like a full-on medium. And we're gonna do 2 more flips, but it's gonna go quicker. We're gonna do another flip, and then we're gonna crank the heat up even higher. And it's like starting to look like something delicious. Listen for that sizzle sound. I'm gonna flip in like 10 seconds and just check on each side. Flip. Okay, now it's starting to look the way we want it to look, because the way your food looks is half the game. That's starting to look really good. We're almost to the finish line. Okay, I'm gonna take it off. Okay, and here we go. Onto the plate. I like to cut with my flipper, just more gratifying. That's how I get out my aggression. Okay, so now it's hot, but now this is my spinach and artichoke grilled cheese. It's a little bit messy, guys. So I'll take a bite once it's cooled down a little bit. Okay, guys, so the hot dip is for the tortilla chips, and this is my favorite, a sourdough grilled cheese. Mm-hmm. That's my best turnout out of every time I've cooked it. That's so good. So the dip just came out of the oven. Let's give that a minute. For this little casserole dish, I only did 18 minutes in the oven, and I feel like that was the perfect amount of time. I've had larger amounts in the oven, and I've done like 25 minutes, so it really depends how much you have. Okay, this is the dip, and this is like just like at the restaurant. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be really hot. That's really good. It's funny, like you can tell the difference in flavor from one of them being like baked and hotter, and then that one just being on the stove. One more little quick bite. Oh no, fuck. Success. Okay guys, thank you so much for cooking with me today. I love cooking, it's one of my favorite hobbies, and I hope that you guys enjoy this recipe and cook it at home. See you, bye.